Welcome back to this last part of our lesson on the demonstratives. In this section, we'll be talking about how to translate demonstratives when they are in sentences. All of these sentences come from the translation assignment, the Traveling Tales, which you have at the end of this module. Dominus huius terrae socius populi Trojani diu fuerat. I always like to read an entire sentence first because it acquaints me with the vocabulary and helps me to think about the structure of the sentence as I read it. I notice right away that I have the demonstrative huius in this sentence from he kai kak, meaning this or these. It is in the genitive singular form, huius. As I read the sentence, I started to familiarize myself with the cases of the nouns that also appear in this sentence. And I noticed that immediately after huius, I have terrae, which is also in the genitive singular. With these two words placed next to each other like that, I'm going to work on the assumption that huius is describing terrae, and they should be used together. If that's so, what will the sentence say? Dominus, the master, huius terrae, of this land, fuerat, had been, socius, an ally, populi Trojani, diu, of the Trojan people for a long time. So I didn't think a whole lot about how huius was used in this sentence. It just made sense that if there was a noun after it in the genitive singular, like it was in the genitive singular, that it should naturally go with it. Let's see if we have as much luck in this sentence. Propter illam amicitiam inter hos duos populos, priamus filium illuc antebellum miserat. So very quickly I see the two demonstratives, illam and hos. And I like these two forms because of the endings am and os. The reason I like them is because they really jump out at me. And what I notice jumps out even more is the fact that immediately after illam, I have the noun amicitiam, which also ends in am, so I know they go together. The same is also true with hos. Following hos, I see another adjective, duos, which ends with os, and then I also see the word populos, which ends with os. So this tells me that all three of those words belong together. So here, again, I see examples of the demonstrative being used like an adjective. What's the sentence say? Propter illam amicitiam, because of that friendship inter hos duos populos, between these two peoples or nations, Priam miserat, had sent filium his son illuc there, or to that place, antebellum, before the war. Now let's take a look at one more example. In litora Aeneas invenit virgulta, ex illis unam ex arboribus fodit. As soon as I read this, I see that there are two sentences, and I notice that the demonstrative is in the second sentence. The fact that there are two sentences indicates I've got some context here. Also, I notice with illis in the sentence that I don't really have any other noun in that sentence that it could describe. I do see arboribus, which is in the ablative plural, like illis is in the ablative plural, but arboribus is in its own prepositional phrase. So I'm thinking that illis is being used like a pronoun in this sentence and referring to something in the previous sentence. Illis is plural, and it can be any gender. And those are the only two things that matter when I go to use a pronoun and find the noun that it refers to. They have to have the same gender and the same number. Litora is singular. Aeneas is singular. But virgulta, if you look at the vocab list, see how it says that virgulta is a neuter plural noun? That means that virgulta is plural. So illis must refer to the virgulta, a thicket. Now this is a plural noun in Latin, but when we use the word thicket in English, we're really referring to one specific thing. I think that the reason the Romans make it plural is because the thicket can be made up of a variety of shrubs and bushes and trees. And so I think that's why they're making it plural. But in English, we refer to it in the singular. So when I translate illis, I would be translating it as that. I could also translate it as it. Not them, because that would be plural, but a thicket could be an it. So let's see which makes the most sense. In litora, on the shore, Aeneas invenit virgulta. Aeneas found a thicket. Ex illis, from it or from that, either makes sense. Fodit, he dug unam, one, ex arboribus, of the trees. How did I know to move from illis right to fodit? Because unam is in the accusative case and it can't be used as a subject. And then I've got a prepositional phrase, so the only place I'm going to find a subject is with my verb based on the ending. And that's why I moved after illis right to fodit. So let's listen to the whole thing again. On the shore, Aeneas found a thicket. From that, he dug up one of the trees. I like that. You could also say, on the shore, Aeneas found a thicket. From it, he dug up one of the trees. You could even say, he dug up one of the trees from it. Won't matter where you put the from it. You just have to make sure that you're understanding it refers to a virgulta. I'm going to give you a quick opportunity to answer a few questions about how a sentence should be translated when it has a demonstrative in it, and you'll have lots of opportunity to practice that when we work on this story, The Traveling Tales, later on in the module.